about to give you 500 reasons to wish you could claim you ain't Christian. I'm about to issue 500 reasons you wish you could claim that you with it, but you isn't, and I get it. Pussy, you scared to admit it. But how you wanna go about this? Watch how you talking to me, nigga. How much would you know without this? Probably be dead in the street, but here you go calling out my shit.
Welcome to the city of Cleveland. This is what we call life. And you know, life is what you make it. Only the strong survive, so don't get discouraged. We all have mental strength. We all have strength to succeed. So the whole plan is to chase your dreams. And when you chase your dreams, when you chase after your dreams, you got to run as fast as you can, because the more you run to it, life kind of runs away from you. So you got to come at it with full speed. You can't stop. You can't get shallow. You got to go at it. You can't play with it, you know, because tomorrow's not promised. And temptation is at an all-time high right around now. So you have to stay focused and get what you desire, you know. And money is out there. You have to get it. You have to run. You have to go for it. And with today's social media, the way everything's set up, you can easily get to the money. But when you chasing after the money run away from you. Money is like, just like this picture that's coming up. You spend all your life chasing after the money. Then you get a little piece of the pie. You get a little piece of it. And then at the end, you get the money. Then your life is over. But you have options.
Hey everybody, it is Tani Jones, aka author Tani Jones, coming to you. Just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement regarding entrepreneurship, making money out here. Well, I guess that goes with entrepreneurship, but just, you know, being the best version of you. First of all, I want to say, never give up on yourself. The one thing that I've learned over these past few months is once I really started believing in me and believing that I am the best of what I do, that's when I started seeing the manifestation of change in my life. And I don't say that as being arrogant. What I did learn or realize was before I walked into my full potential, my mindset was down here. You know, I knew I was a good writer. I knew I was a good person. I knew I could do so many things, but I really didn't believe. It's a difference between believing and knowing. But when I said, you know what? I need to be confident. And I start praying about being more confident in my gifts and my talents and myself. It came as like a flood. You know, I started writing down positive things about myself, about my talents. I started reading my old works, reading my magazine articles, reading my books that I started and haven't finished, reading the books that I did finish, you know, the ghostwriting project. I said, you know what, girl, you bad. Matter of fact, you Michael Jackson bad, okay? And once I started thinking that way, that I am one of the best to ever do it, it's like everything just started falling together. And that is not arrogance. It's called self-love.
Every day in life, you want to elevate, you know. Always do a mental health check, you know. And there's always a new beginning. Remember, new month, new beginning, new mindset, new focus, new start, new intentions, new everything. And always educate yourself. Do a lot of reading. And do a mental health check. Make sure you're cool, not having the best day. You know, sometimes it leads you to the drink, the alcohol, but don't take too much of it. But if you do, there's always good news out here, because there's always help, you know.
Hello, my name's Ashton Cantu, and I'm a transformational life coach. And I'm just going to share with you briefly my take on why people come to the place of wanting to or feeling motivated to change their lives, and how you might be able to look at this through a different lens, because oftentimes it takes some sort of rude awakening. There's really only two ways to shift your life. You're living life by default, or you're living life by design. And the only way that you can move out of those default patterns is by shifting your paradigm. So it's either that hard, abrupt paradigm shift that shakes people awake, that says, whoa, I need to do something, I need to change. And that often happens through sickness, through maybe having a child, maybe it's a School of Hard Knocks consequence, like something, you know, that really rocks the boat or that's pretty scary, that kind of jolts you and wakes you up to the fact that something has to change, and knowing that basically everything on our outer world and our outer results is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of us. That motivation to change has to start within. So that's the number one reason people get motivated to change. But beyond that, I want to encourage those of you who are listening that it doesn't need to, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until you get the diagnosis. You don't need to wait until the marriage falls apart. You don't need to wait until you hit rock bottom with depression and are feeling suicidal to start doing the things you can do now to show up for yourself. So when it comes to being motivated, I don't know if that is the key as much as it is finding an internal sense of worthiness, that you realize that you actually deserve to be free, to be fulfilled, to have joy and peace in your heart, to live out your dreams. When you tap into that sense of deserving and understand that the beautiful things that you desire that are in your heart aren't actually far beyond your grasp, if you decide to start showing up for yourself and unlearning and reprogramming the ineffective patterns that are keeping you stuck or in the same toxic cycles, or just really not moving in the direction that you want to go. So motivation doesn't always last, but I'll tell you what will last is you knowing you're worth it. So let that be your motivation. Let your motivation be, you know that you deserve it and it's yours, right? So that can be the springboard for transformation. Don't let your springboard be the rock bottom moment. That's typically the catalyst, but it doesn't have to be when it comes to transformation. You can choose to live your life by design now. You can choose to do the work now. So the question was, what motivates people to transform their lives? Like I said, for most people, unfortunately, it's a pretty tough awakening that brings them to that. But it doesn't have to be. It can simply be the decision to be someone different. And you don't need anybody's permission to decide to start showing up as the best version of yourself today. All right. Thank you guys for spending a moment with me. I hope this just sheds a little light on how, how much access you have to a new life in the present moment. And it doesn't need to, nothing has to happen except your decision to show up. All right.
Don't throw your life away, because when you go to jail, jail is nasty. It's nasty, it's horrible, and prison is definitely crowded. Definitely crowded, it's not clean, unsanitary, and they'll treat you any kind of way in there.
The jailer said he ordered the inmate to go to his cell. Then this. Enoch appears to push the inmate, hitting him in the face, then pursues him across the room, punching the inmate repeatedly and putting him in what supervisors called a chokehold. Enoch then held the inmate in that hold for several minutes until help arrived, finally subduing the inmate and getting him into a restraint chair. Enoch told supervisors the inmate had a history of assaulting others and that he inadvertently pushed the inmate in the face. That inmate suffered a broken wrist. Enoch was suspended for 20 days for use of excessive force, failing to document what supervisors called an unauthorized restraint hold and failing to properly de-escalate the situation.
What's up, y'all? This brother here, he just getting out the county, man. Tell us what you think about the system, man.
Well, our judicial system is highly flawed, to say the least, but this building back here is full of very high-scale corruption. There's just from the level of somebody that's been in there, not just somebody that's reading the newspaper or whatever, but they're highly overpopulated. They're way past maximum occupancy. There's people sleeping on the floors. They don't have enough room in the cells, but due to the financial gain that they have for putting people in there, they stuff them in there anywhere they can fit them. It's called the Justice Center, but it's really just a big cash register.
Right.
If you have the money to afford legal defense, the whole justice aspect isn't really too relevant. They, you know, move you through real slow. They over-indict you with charges that really have no bearing on anything that was actually taking place. And then throughout the judicial process, they'll drop some of them throughout the legal proceedings so that you will take a plea bargain. And the plea bargain is what gives the Cuyahoga County Justice Center, the judicial system, a 90-something% conviction rate.
Right.
Because people are intimidated by the excessive indictments that come.
Used to be in gangs. That landed him in prison. Now he's working to keep kids from the same life he lived.
I deal with kids that some of them have no hope. I'm dealing with a lot of kids that grew up in the system. I deal with kids that have been shot before. Some kids have shot people. I've dealt with people that are really knee-deep in the street. It's one of the highest crime areas in Cleveland.
This is?
Yes. About 10 gangs over here. Oh, what's up? How you been? You good?
Yeah.
What you doing with yourself now?
Nah, I'm telling you, just staying out of trouble for real.
That's good. The kids in my caseload, the one thing they want more than anything is a job. I'm someone that firmly believes a lot of crime problems deals with class and it deals with economics. I think the Democratic Party is taking us for granted. The Republican Party literally ignores us, except for Trump. Trump is striving to make inroads, but he is a polarizing figure, so that's not helping our cause either.
As for his vote, he's undecided, but decidedly against Donald Trump.
I got Shalal with me. He gonna break down gun control and the things he deal with in the streets with the youth. Okay, I know you're in the Cleveland area, and you deal with a lot of people like crimes and people who like seeking out to get revenge when somebody, family members get shot. What are your take? Like, what do you go through when you're in these hospitals and you have to deal with these victims, family members that got shot and then retaliate? Like, how do you communicate with them to keep them to have a level head, to be level-headed?
Well, I listen completely to what they have to say, and then when they tell me the situation, I tell them the pros and cons of the situation, and the cons always outweigh the pros. I mean, it's a waste of time. It's just a seesaw cycle that has to stop. And I strive to get them something to deflect away from their anger. I try to give them some ways to change their life. I tell them to think long-term and not short-term. Because, you know, when you go out and shoot someone in retaliation, that's just a short-term solution. Think long-term. If you think long-term, eventually you're going to get got too. So you have to learn how to stop it, break yourself away from that cycle. And I try to give them ways of doing that.
So what do you think that can help the youth? You know, I know like nowadays, you know, a lot of these young cats out here, they all about gunplay. You know, so I know you see a lot of that. And man, at least like how many times you at the hospital a month over like violence with, you know, with a gun?
A lot, every day. Every other day, if not every day. Most of the time it's every day. A lot of violence, multiple times. There was one night 12 people got shot an hour. So it happens a lot. It's frequent. It's too much. Guns are easy, gets like candy out here.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think that could stop the youth from like grabbing the guns and using it this way? They just throw their life away nowadays. It seems like, you know, back in the day we used to fight. You know, we used to drag somebody in the middle of the street and whoop their ass in front of everybody. You know what I mean? Embarrass them. But nowadays they grab the pistol.
I'm gonna tell you like this: there were always guns. There were always people getting shot. I mean, because to keep it real, when we were youth, the older people used to say that we resort to guns, and then we used to fight. They used to fight. So you know, it's like the same thing. We're saying the same thing about the youth that the older people said about us. So I'm gonna say there were always guns. It's the way the guns were used. There was a time, you know, it was like drug dealers and gangbangers and stuff where you didn't hit old ladies over the head, or you try not to hurt small children. Within the last few years, we had several very, very small children get killed because of crossfire, and that hit back to back to back, and that's not good. And plus, it seems like they'll hit old people now. They just have no respect anymore. So that's the main problem: value recognition. So that's what we need to teach: value recognition. They need to value their life before they value anything, and then they need to value other people's lives need to value the good things about life. We need to instill values. And gun control can help too.
So like when you talk to the youth, what's one of the main reasons why they throw their life away? You know, like now it seems like we got the gangs, like we got the heartless felons and things, and it seems like they have no remorse. They just grab the pistol and just use it. They don't even think. Like, what's their main what's their main thought? Like when you ask them, like when they beefing with someone, what makes them like they're not getting love right at home, or like what's the main reason you think?
Sometimes it is, you know, if the parents don't care, why would the kid care either? So if they have no magnanimous interest in posterity because nobody cares for them, they feel nobody cares, they feel they have nothing to lose. They don't feel they're learning anything in school. And school's not really preparing them for what they need. So it's kind of a situation where they feel there's no other solution, and they're products of their environment. They see everybody go to jail, you know, they feel it's a rite of passage. They need to go to jail. They see other people shooting, so that's what they see is learned behavior. These kids are real nice, some of them real sweet. There's always a place along the road where they just go the wrong way. You have to try to get them before they get to that point, or if you see them at that point, you need to try to stop it before they go the wrong way. But you know, most of these kids aren't born bad. They're not born sociopaths or psychopaths. And keep it real, 90% of them they just want to belong. They shouldn't be out there using the guns anyway. None of them should really, but they just really aren't about that life. That's what I'm striving to say. 90% of them aren't really about that life.